Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday the 13th trading room. I don't know if you're superstitious, but here we go. The market making a big rally in the overnight. The Nasdaq market that we're looking at here, making a big rally in the overnight, and we're trading back up here near the 6100 area. That's kind of crazy. I didn't think we were going to see that, especially after yesterday's session. I thought for sure we were going to see a market that was going to decline, but that is a huge overnight rally, and as such, I might actually expect the market to reverse from here. But we'll see. I try not to impose my own opinion too much on the market. And they are almost setting up that way, aren't they? You can see the high here. We'll take a look again at the Raptor. This would be considered a test of the extreme. This is the pre-market high, but here we are on the open testing the high. If we get a little bit of a rally here and another rejection, that should produce a sell signal, a number 2 sell signal. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm just going to short the market at this point. I looked away for a moment and we did produce the number 2 signal. The target for this trade is going to be the hard edge. And I've been hitting my break even a little bit early, so I'm going to roll my break even a little bit further away. In fact, the primary resistance line is just above the hard edge, so I think I may adjust my trade to look at profiting at the hard edge. Come on. As I said, this is a little bit risky. I'm thinking that the market may be moving into a sideways trading range. And if that's the case, the bottom end of the range is actually down here at the next support zone, the primary support, which would be at 60, 73, 74, in that neighborhood. That's also a viable target, by the way. You know, if we wanted to be ultra aggressive on this trade, we could look at doing something like this. That's going to require the market to move 1, 2, 3 full zones. That's a lot, but we'll see. We'll see. Oops, sorry. I keep rolling the screen. We'll see how things play out here. Come on. All right, here we go. So remember, our first profit objective was the hard edge right here. Like I said, this is a very ambitious trade. So if you're looking to take profit, I fully expect to see some sort of reaction down there. Come on. Well, at least we're moving a little bit today. Not much, but a little. So we're holding up pretty good here at the first hard edge. Hoping not to see too much of a hard edge bounce. Richard's asking, why is your break even below 60.85? I'm just trying to keep it out of the way. I'm probably going to roll it up. But I've noticed some of my trades recently, I've been getting stopped out too early on a little break even hiccup. So I'm trying to avoid that. Same reason I'm really slow with my stops. Our high probability profit target is only halfways here. It would be let's see, we're in at 94. It would be here at 89. So I would have already hit the break-even trigger, and you can see I would have got tagged again at break-even. So I got my fingers crossed that maybe this time we'll see a little bit more bearish follow-through. I hope. There's that number 3 signal. So the bull's giving it a good push. And like I said, I'm being very aggressive on this trade. Aggressive in the sense that I'm asking a lot from the market. I'm going to try to hang on as long as I can. Maybe do what we sometimes refer to as a one and done. Frank asks, good morning, Eric. Well, good morning, Frank. Is there any advantage in switching to Ninja version 8? Good question. You'll have to double check with Adam. I do believe there is still the odd bug with the trade manager in Ninja 8. Now, I'm not 100% sure on that because sometimes Adam forgets to tell me these things. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to send him a Skype right now, and I will remind him about it. But as far as your DTS system goes, no, there's no advantage to moving over to Ninja 8. Ninja 8 does have some cool features. Most of them, I believe, are cosmetic. So if you're running like a regular daily chart or 5-minute chart or something like that, Ninja 8 has features that you'll be able to use. But other than that, with the DTS and the Raptor systems, no, you're not really going to notice any difference, other than you may find a software conflict. Now, like I said, I do believe they've all been ironed out, but I'm going to Skype Adam right now and just confirm that. I've mentioned this before, but I'm not one to upgrade operating systems very often. And that goes for my Windows operating system. It goes for when I used a Linux system, I wouldn't upgrade very often. And it goes for NinjaTrader upgrades as well. I think I was probably the last person to upgrade from Ninja 6.5 to Ninja 7. And the only reason I did that is because I had to. One of the best things I ever did for my desktop computer, which is running Windows 7, is turn off the updates feature. A friend of mine who actually did computer tech support told me early on, you don't need the update feature. If your computer is working out of the box, it will continue to work. Now, occasionally you need to upgrade certain aspects. If you're running a piece of software that will only run on the latest operating system, but that's very, very rare that software designers make their software that way. And all these security fixes, I'm using air quotes when I say that, security fixes, a lot of them introduce, well, I'm going to call it spyware, even though Microsoft doesn't spy on you. But they introduce a lot of software and pop-ups and stuff that you don't need. For those of you running Windows 7, you probably get that annoying pop-up all the time saying upgrade to Windows 10 for free or something like that. Windows 10, which I have on my laptop, I find to be extremely annoying because the programmers have removed any option you have to opt out of upgrades. I think obviously Microsoft discovered that a lot of people were turning off their updates and not upgrading their software. That way Microsoft couldn't harvest information off your computer. And again, this is not malicious stuff, but there's stuff in your metadata in your internet that's worth money, and they want access to this. Now in Windows 10, to be fair, you can turn off privacy features, but you cannot turn off the updates. So what does that mean? That means that when I'm in the middle of working on something, or if I'm starting the day on my computer, Windows 10 will come up. Windows 10 has an update for you, and we're rebooting, and it's not like the update takes a minute to do or that it's a reboot to do. Some of these updates can take 20 or 30 minutes to install. So I am not at all happy with Windows 10. If you haven't heard my gripe before, I'm going to keep things to a minimum today. But I paid for the computer. It's my computer. It should do what I want. If Microsoft wants to give me a computer for free, then that's fine. They can track what I do online. They can track how many keystrokes I do when I write a Word document. They can track all that stuff. I don't care. But when I'm paying and it's mine, it's going to do what I want it to do. So I'm, like I say, not at all happy with the Windows 10. Hopefully, whatever operating system follows Windows 10 will be better than that. If not, I have a feeling I'm going to be looking seriously at a Linux system. Yeah, or Frank says a Mac. I think they really topped out at Windows 7. I really do. Windows 7, I can't say enough good things about it. Ultra stable. For a Microsoft system, it's pretty darn efficient. You know, it's not the memory pig that some of the other systems were. But I love the stability of it. It never crashes. It never hangs on a program. So they got that right. They gave you all the features you want to use. You know, great operating system. Like I say, nothing bad to say about it. Windows 10, I have nothing good to say about it. But hey, maybe I'm just turning into an old fart. Who knows? Okay, but I will ask Adam to make sure that Ninja 8 is compatible. Alrighty, so I sent him a Skype. He'll probably pick that up later today. I see he's not online right now. And I asked him to just let everyone know. So you'll probably see an email from him soon. And doggone it, I was really hoping we would get a little follow through on the signal today, but right now we are even in a tighter rating range than what we saw the last few days. Crazy. Okay, so we're making another attempt at breaking the low of the morning. We'll see whether the sellers can get it together this time. Or not. Oh man, if we get another bounce here, that's going to be a double pullback signal. That's actually kind of bullish. Well, we'll see. All right, here we go. Big push. Everybody, all together, grab that that price bar and pull it lower. Come on, here we go. Doggone it. Come on. They're just so balanced all the way through here. Look at all these yellow bars. I bet the hawk is nothing but yellow bars too, sure enough. Nothing but yellow bars. Just a perfectly balanced market. A very happy market. They are not interested in going one way or the other. Well, there's yet another number 3 signal. You're going to notice, though, that we're producing signal after signal after signal here without any follow-through. It's there's no volume in the marketplace, is what's going on. you're going to notice that all these bars, even the wider bars, because I'm using the dynamic equivolume bars here from Indicator Warehouse, even the wide bars, look at the volume on that, it's like 1200, but what's the opening bar? Okay, so there's the opening bar, only 3000. That's low. For an opening bar, that's extremely low. I guess the upshot of the low volume, no volatility type marketplace is that all those computer-driven high-frequency trading companies are probably not doing all that well. Let's take a look here. Vince is asking, what is the Falcon doing? Well, the Falcon, same kind of thing, just this sideways drift. We're sandwiched essentially between these two resistance zones. Looks like we're going to test the overnight high. I might actually, oh yes, okay, good. I want to make sure I had my stop up above 6100 as we get a little press to the upside. This is very annoying. Darn it. They are going to try to press 61. I thought for sure, given this overnight rally, that we would see a little bit of a reversal here, but not yet. If we can hang on until the bottom of the hour, we should see the sellers get a little bit more aggressive. Okay, we're going to test the bottom end of the trading range. Sometimes the toughest part of a day like today is just trying to hang on. Vincent is asking, how are the Dow and the Russell doing? We'll see if I can't get that for you. So this now, the Russell, and the Russell actually already completing a trend change signal out of the open. It too came down, hit the high probability profit target, and then reversed. I should probably leave the Russell up a little more. It's a nice market, actually. Well, last couple days excluded, of course, because of all the sideways trading that we've seen. But the Russell, I like the Russell. It's a good market. The Dow, let's take a look at the Dow. Oop, I still have the September Dow up there. Hold on. Let me make some changes, and I will bring you the Dow. This now the mini Dow, the YM, and it's, yeah, well, this explains part of the conflict as well. The Dow looking a little bit more bullish. We saw the Russell bearish. The Nasdaq also very conflicted. The euro is dead sideways. Crude oil falling off slightly. Here's crude. And when the stock indices opened, we also produced a counter trend signal. Crude oil having a little bit more progression to the short side, hit the target, the hard edge. So here we are. Doggone it. Buyers are swinging it a little bit early here. Not really what I was hoping to see. So we've been pet sitting our friends Dachshund for the last couple of weeks while they are vacationing in Europe. And we've had dogs in the past. And this dog, Pete, is a very nice dog. He's very well behaved. But when you get out of the dog lifestyle, you forget how much work a dog is. Now, like I say, he's a very good dog. With his short little legs, the walks are always shorter than they were with our poodle or Airedale. But still, he's he's well, an emotional parasite. He's always around. I'm so afraid I'm going to step on him because he's always underfoot. But only one more night, and then he goes back home to Mommy and Daddy. Steve says, I've got 2 goldfish and a tarantula. Yeah, very low maintenance, no walks. I don't mind the walks, except, you know, like I say, when you get out of the routine of having a dog and you start doing other things, now all of a sudden I've got to walk the dog, I got to feed the dog. And it's like, oh my goodness, where'd the time go? I got to be somewhere. Well, the buyers pressing hard, the sellers not able to follow through yet. I would very much like to see a lower swing instead of all these higher swings. Now, they're not monster swings higher. But the market is still stepping up, which is not what I wanted to see. The euro is slipping a little lower. That may pull the stock market down. Not that there's a direct correlation between the euro and the North American stock market, but a lot of times they will tend to move together. A lot of these markets tend to be tied together at some level. I still can't believe the lack of volume going on here. Like, this is just crazy. Look at that, 1100, 700. This is like an overnight session. Look at that. In the overnight, we at least had 2800 form on that bar, even one of these thin bars. Oh, well, that one's just under 600. Look at that, 1300. The overnight session had more going on than the day session. That's crazy. Well, I'm not liking these higher swings. The market keeps pressing here at 6,100. My stop may prove to be a little bit tight. I don't really want to leave it up here at 6,105. If we break 6,100 and they trade through my stop, then that's fine. Yeah, so as I suspected, we just saw a little bit too much bullishness there. The sellers never getting really serious about moving the market. And now they are waffling again. A little bit of a breakout. I mentioned this before, but most breakouts fail. Scott asks, okay, I know printed signals vary, but for some reason today, rather than printing exactly what I see on your Nasdaq, today I have only two prints. A number 2 at 641, that's this guy, and a number 2 at 711, that's this one. Am I missing a ton of information? Any ideas? Well, first, try reloading your Ninja script and reloading your historical data. See if that changes anything. And it may not be you. It could be me. Nope, it's not me. Got the same signals printing. Try that. I'm on a kinetic data feed now. Sometimes there's a little variation in data providers. Ooh, way to go, Mark. Mark taking the buy signal on the Falcon, the trend change signal. 3 cars, he says, just hit the profit target for a $300 profit. You know, I've mentioned this before as well, but when in doubt, stay with the big trend. And I was trying to get a little bit ahead of the market here today, and of course I got stuck for it. But here's the daily Nasdaq chart, and you can see it's wedging up, to be sure. I think everybody's looking at that and saying, whoa, we got a serious wedge going on, and wedges like this tend to break to the downside. I don't think it's so much a question of where it's going as when it's going. So we have that kind of wedge forming. This will show up in a textbook somewhere, someday. And a downside breakout is extremely likely. And yet, if you just looked at this chart, what is the trend? Well, the trend is up. Therefore, you will probably always do better on the buy side. Even, and my rule of thumb for trend, and again, I admit that I'm trying to get a little bit cute, trying to get ahead of the curve, but typically my rule with trend is if I see 2 or 3 big bars, that establishes the trend for me. So here, 3 big, strong bars. To me, the market is now in an uptrend. Yes, it spent a long time, probably a month, going sideways before the uptrend resumed, but that still established the trend. These bars here are heading lower, but look at the long tails on all these. Those are not really aggressive sell bars, are they? And one aggressive bar does not a trend make. And it's not just the stock market. This is true for any market. Let's say you're looking at the euro. Obviously, huge bar here. Another reasonably strong bar closing near the high. Another strong bar closing near the high. Okay, got a little bit of heat. Market tried to come down, came back with a strong bar, couple small bars, strong bar, and then the trend resumed. Here to the euro now, we've got some, I'm thinking a little bit more bearish. We've got some reasonably strong bars to the short side. The market tries to recover, comes back. We're fighting back and forth, back and forth. The charts will tell you a story if you kind of step back a little bit to read them. And there's times, obviously, where the market's just not going anywhere. That's important to consider as well. See here, crude oil. strong bar, strong bar, strong bar, 4 bullish bars in a row, all of a sudden you get a little resistance. Well, there's your opportunity to get in. Okay, so you didn't buy it down here. Big deal. You still made a very, very nice profit there. Then the market reverses. Look at this monster selling bar, strong bar, strong bar, strong bar. The market hesitates a little bit. Okay, well, now's your chance to get in, and you're able to capture part of the ride. Again, so what? So you weren't able to sell from the high. Big deal. So if you're trading intraday, it's still worth your while to look at a daily chart and try to get a feel for the marketplace. Here's the Russell now. Russell looking very, very strong, right? The market's taking off like a shot. Okay, not so strong right now, but still the overall bias looking up. Let's take a look at the E-mini. It's going to be pretty much the same thing as the Nasdaq. Again, very, very strong. A little bit of a sideways drift. I still got this wedge type thing going on in my mind. Which is making me perhaps a little bit more bearish than I ought to be. Let's see, what else can we look at? We can look at, sorry, forgot, don't get coffee on this feed. Gold, let's take a look at gold. Yeah, see, gold's a tough one. A couple strong bars here, but we also have some strong bars here, don't we? So gold's kind of in the thick of it right now. Could go either way, and you can either wait it out or you can take your chances. Throw a couple dollars on it. All right. Scott sending out kudos to Mark and says, okay, I reloaded NinjaScript and historical data, and now I only show the number 2 that printed at 641. Who is your data provider, Scott? Okay, well, while Scott figures out who his data provider is, if it persists, I would ask you to contact Ben, and he will have some suggestions. Yeah, you should have named it something else besides your name. Scott named his connection after himself. I've since deleted it, but when I give my connection their names, it used to say Continuum Live, and so I can tell, oops, where is it? So I can tell what data feed does what. But at any rate, it's if you go probably here into your account connections, it should say, oh yeah, your connection name, it should say your provider right there. But at any rate, mine's Kinetic. If yours is Continuum or CQG or one of the others, your data may be slightly different than mine today. It might be a couple milliseconds difference between our data. It's not to say mine is right and yours is wrong. It's just that they're different. What I was going to say is if it persists, I would contact Ben about it, and he will have a solution. But every once in a while, our data might not match up exactly. I wouldn't panic. Wow. Well, you know what, gang? I know we're only an hour in, but really, there is nothing going on here today. I don't know if you guys want to hang out. If you have any questions, please ask. Sorry, did that sound a little desperate? Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to take another trade today. Fridays are tough at the best of times. I don't know if I really want to risk another trade here, although they are faltering after the breakout higher. Might get a push lower. I don't think I'll be greedy this time. I'll just take the profit on target when I have it. I was swinging a little, little beyond myself there. Yeah, like Peter says, after keeping a trading log, I stopped trading Fridays a few months ago. I don't blame you, Peter. Floyd asked, what's the best time to trade crude? The 6 a.m. open has not been good to me. Crude has not been a very cooperative market all year. The market's been dead slow. It seems like the best moves are coming in the overnight. I have not been happy with crude oil at all. In fact, I've been thinking about flipping it for another market. The only reason I've had crude on my assortment as long as I have is because so many people ask about it. But really, you look at these moves, this was yesterday's session. Like, what's going on? And okay, the day before, no, sorry, the day before was a mess too. The day before that, we actually had a decent move right out of the open, beautiful trend. I don't know, maybe natural gas is better. Natural gas certainly has enough volatility to it. But to answer your question, Floyd, uh, I don't know. Like I said, the crude oil market has not been very cooperative. Here's natural gas today. It looks like, oh, there we are. We're getting a sell signal, test to the extreme. Yesterday's trend was a little better. Here's natural gas open. Nice trend. Let's see the day before that. Yeah, nothing even tradable there. Day before that, very quiet. Day before that. So it looks like, see how the session break lines are so close together? It looks like you're getting one signal off of the open. And then that's it. So natural gas probably should go to the alternate 446 settings. I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't. Crude oil, like I say, very, very flat right now. Not much going on. Not the volatile market that most of us are used to. The fast-paced, fast-moving market. Vince is asking, what are gold E-minis doing? Honestly, Vince, I haven't followed the gold E-minis very much. Last time I checked them, the volume was very, very light. We can take a look here at the regular gold contract. As that loads. So we're getting a counter trend signal there. Actually, gold, maybe gold is one that I want to put up in place of crude. Getting a little bit of movement on that. So here's the yesterday's session. The day before, kind of sideways, but at least there was some movement there. Day before that, again, a reasonable amount of movement. Yeah, so gold actually looking not that bad. Still quiet, but at least there's something going on. That was a nice trading day there. Had to wait a little while. Yeah, maybe I'll swap out crude oil for gold. We'll put the NQ back here. I think that's what I'll do, actually. We'll throw gold up on here. I haven't followed gold for the longest time. Silver is an interesting one as well, but sometimes the margins can be brutal on silver. The gold minis never seem to have enough volume with them. Here, we'll just do a little comparison because there's nothing else going on. So to do that, you're going to want to go to your instrument manager and you're going to find all your gold markets. So you got different ones to choose from. You got the COMEX mini, the mini futures, and you've even got the micro gold. So why don't we check all these out? We'll compare the volumes on all of them. And I've already got the big gold. all December. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we are going to build a market analyzer. The market analyzer is essentially like a stock screening tool, except we're not trading stocks. So we're going to add now gold, and we're going to add where'd you go, mini gold? There's the micro gold. I wish there was a way you could select all the markets you wanted here at once, but you can't. And the YG. I think there's one more. ZG. Okay. Okay, well that's not good for the YG and the ZG. We're not even getting a bid and ask. Now we're going to adjust the columns. So we don't really care about the ask, the bid, or the last. What we want to see is we want to see the volume. Here we go, daily volume. Not sure why the YG and ZG aren't even trading. But it looks like the only one worth following would be the micro gold. That surprises me. I thought the mini would be better. I thought for sure the Comox mini would be the one to follow. Okay, so here's again. So the Comex MIDI is the QO, and that's only 217, 1%, not even. A tenth of a percent of the big contract. The mini gold, or pardon me, the micro gold, at least has 3,200 contracts traded. Oh, that's why. Yeah, I'm surprised these are even listed. Okay, so there you go. You can do a quick little analysis and find out which markets are worth following. While we have this going, let's see what the micro gold looks like, shall we? Stephen, I'll get to your question there in a moment. Yeah, Scott says, are you getting their data? No, I don't think my data is including their the Comex MIDI and the whatever the other one was. Because the Comex MIDI should be the biggest of the bunch. All right, at any rate, here's the micro. And let's see what kind of dollars we're looking at. Let's say we wanted to take that number one, cover it below the low. Okay, well, the risk amount is certainly reasonable. We're going to have to adjust our profit objective. because there's no point in doing a trade like that for 20 bucks. But it looks like, you know, if you're shooting for a scalp target, like a $50, $60 trade, you should be able to achieve that no problem. Let's say we looked at that number 2 and going down there. Yeah, it's certainly cheap enough. And at 3,200 contracts traded, you shouldn't experience terrible slippage. It looks as though it's following the gold market pretty much lockstep, which is what you would anticipate. So Vince, I guess what you need to do is you need to compare the volume on the other two gold markets if you're interested in following the minis. And then you'll have a better idea. Yeah, Stephen, I know Stephen's asking here about the Japanese e-minis. If anybody's checked them out, Stephen writes, I got a letter from M Futures about trading these 5 or so Japanese mini instruments. They trade at night. I thought it might be too much trading the day and the night, but it's an idea. The markets are truly global now. You know, you can find something to trade any time of the day or night. A lot of times, the easiest markets to trade at night are the currencies. So you would be looking at, well, for those of us in North America, nighttime for us would mean the Asian session is the most active. And the European session would kind of kick into gear around midnight Pacific time. So, yeah, it's not a bad idea if you're if you got nothing going on. There's nothing good on television, that's for sure. If you turn the computer on and you see a promising trade, I don't know if they're experiencing any more volatility than what we're seeing in the North American markets, or if the markets are just dull across the board. Because I'm looking at the euro, and the euro's, well, it tailed off a little bit today, but overall, it hasn't been an exceptional session for the euro dollar. A nice little signal there. It looks bigger than it is. It's a slow grind lower, but there you go. I guess you just have to do the same test. You have to test the volume, make sure there's enough volume on it, and just watch it for a little bit. See how the signals follow through. I haven't followed any of them myself, but if you want to shoot me an email with some of the markets that they're recommending, I'd be happy to check them out, give you my 2 cents worth on those. All right, gang, I think we're going to button up shop here. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. I will see you again on Monday. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.